now. I want to talk about forgiveness and try to teach you why it's important to forgive, and also why don't we learn it, because I feel that so many people learn it when they're older, right? But none of us learn it when we're younger, at least for me anyway. And I think the theory that I have is that kids don't get taught forgiveness because when your parents see that someone's hurt you or upset you or done you wrong, they don't even want to say, "Oh, forgive that person." They want to push them away. They want to slander that person as well because they don't like to see you upset. So I feel like not a lot of people, some people do, not a lot of people learn what forgiveness is until they're much later in life. And I think when you live through life, you have, the longer you live, the more chance you have for error, the more chance you have to mess up, and especially when you're older, you have more chance to mess up big time with loads of different things. And when you do mess up is when you go, "Oh, yeah, I want forgiveness from that person or whatever I've done." You want that forgiveness. And when that comes about, you also realize that there's probably a lot of people that have done you wrong that they want some forgiveness too, and it's like you want to give it to them. You want to just forgive them for whatever they've done, whoever's done you wrong. Obviously, it depends on the scale of how bad they've done you, or how much wrong they've done you. But a lot of the times, after you've messed up big time, it becomes a lot easier to forgive others. And that's when you decide where it's important. You decide that it's important to forgive. As a kid, there was a lot of people that had done me wrong and upset me and whatnot, and I never forgave these people. I held it like a grudge, And when my life started to become, a little bit better, and I started to relax a little bit, I realized that I was holding these things inside me, and it was dragging me down. It was making me angry, making me more upset, and whatnot. And as I learned the skill of forgiveness, I would start to forgive, truly, like with my heart, forgive people, and I started to feel a bit more freer and a bit more lighter. It made me feel good, and that's where I think it's good for you, whoever you are, however old you are, to start forgiving people on the small things, wherever it is. They cut you off in traffic, or they push past you, or whatever it is, these small things. Start forgiving people on those small things. Just let it go. Just go, "Okay, I forgive that person," and ask for forgiveness, whatnot, whatever. You just forgive them, it's alright, and you move on. Because the more times you do that, and the more times that happens, you'll start to build up an ability to forgive. And when you come to these big crossroads in your life where someone's done you so wrong and it's really bad, wherever it is, broke your heart, or they've done you dirty, they've robbed from you, or whatnot, when it comes to those parts, it'll be easier to forgive then, because if you don't, it will just sit on you, and it'll make you sad, and it'll make you angry, and you may not even notice it until years and years later. I'm trying to forgive someone right now, and it's hard because I want to feel it in my heart that I really forgive this person. But every time I go to, it's like, "Oh, but do I?" It's a back and forth from myself. I know that I can forgive, and I believe I want to, but it is so hard to truly feel that in my heart. I could say it, and that doesn't mean that it's true. It doesn't mean that that's what I feel in my heart. And I don't like to say things I don't feel, right here in my heart. So it's hard. It definitely still weighs on me. And I don't want you to ever get to that point where something that has been done to you weighs on you. You're kind of double bubble on yourself. You've been done wrong and then you're holding it on you. It's the worst. So forgiveness is important. Start small, work your way up, and when these big problems happen in your life, these big incidents that will need your forgiveness, you can give it. And also, I think the most important thing, when you've done something wrong in your life, you're going to want forgiveness from the people around you, whoever is affected, whoever you've upset. But the hardest thing, and I truly believe this, the hardest thing is to forgive yourself. Forgiving yourself is a big task. Because when you ask for some forgiveness from someone else, if they are a little bit wise and they kind of understand the deal here, they will forgive pretty much straight away. If they're good at it, right? Not all people are. And there you go. You've been forgiven by that person. But forgiving yourself is a whole other can of worms. It's you really need to dig deep, go easy on yourself, and go, look, I messed up. That's okay. We're in the past, that's in the past now. All we can do is look forward, move forward. The best example I've ever gotten of forgiveness is a woman and her son gets killed. And when she goes into the courtroom, the killer is of similar age to her son. Instead of, cussing him out and telling him he should be going to jail for the rest of his life, she sits there, she forgives him, and she starts to help him. She starts to write back and forth with him, and she starts to really take an interest in his life, because she says, one life has already been wasted. Why should there be another? Now, I can tell you now that taking a life is, that's heavy. Taking a life is the worst, one of the worst things a human can do. And I know that this boy, he sits in jail right now. He's got life in prison. And he's gotten so much love, so much forgiveness from the mum of his victim. But for him to forgive himself, I couldn't imagine how bad he must feel, how much guilt he must feel. Forgiving himself is going to be one of the hardest things he'll have to do in his entire life. The sentence he gets, he says 20, 15 years, whatever, that won't be hard. You'll get used to things, you have friends in there, you get to read, you get to, you've got a roof over your head, stuff like that. But forgiving himself, that's a huge thing. And I feel like, look, not all of us have taken a life, and I hope that none of us ever do, but we've all done bad. And we hold it at the same kind of, we all kind of hold it at the same kind of place, where we feel bad, we feel guilty. And that's good. It really is. It shows that you're human, and it also shows that you have heart. Now, don't waste it. Don't waste that heart. Don't waste that human you have in you. Use it to, first of all, do what you need to do to try and amend whatever you've done to the best of the degree. Again, not everything can be reversed. This kid has taken a life, can't bring this other kid back to life. But what you can do is try to make his life as good as possible and try and live a life for the mum of the victim and go, look, I'm sorry, I messed up, but at least I'm making something of my life. At least not two lives are being wasted here, which is, I think, what the mum wanted. So yeah, first of all, try to make amends, to do as much as you can to to fix your wrongdoing. Try and seek forgiveness from people that you've done wrong. And then the last and the hardest part, forgive yourself. We're all very hard on ourselves, and at the end of the day, we are all human. We're all mess ups in one way or the other. Some more extreme, some less, but we're all human. It really, it's okay. Just don't be so hard on yourself. When you beat yourself up, you go downhill. And when you go downhill, you make mistakes. You push people away. It just gets worse and worse. So don't do that. Forgive yourself as fast and properly as possible, and then get up and move on with life, and realize that forgiving people is important, and forgiveness of yourself is important, and most of all, seeking forgiveness when you have done wrong, asking for that. A lot of people in this life are good. When you ask for forgiveness, a lot of the time you shall receive it if you're genuine. Sometimes you won't, and that sucks too. Yeah, that's everything today, guys. I'll talk to you later.